Hey folks, Quill18 here, and welcome to, I guess, an update video about Civilization 6 and our Spain game, and also a video about the update to Civilization 6. The Fall 2017 update just hit today, or late yesterday, I suppose. There's good and bad to this. One, there's a lot of really great changes and exciting changes coming up here. The bad is that I set Steam to go offline as soon as I got, like, the notice that, like, this patch was coming through, as soon as I saw the email for it. Because what I want to do is I want to finish the Spain game before applying the patch. I was just going to record it for YouTube and upload it directly. By the way, the stream videos for Spain are going to hit YouTube really soon. Sorry they haven't gone up online yet, but there should be the first video really soon for that, for people who have missed the stream. So I was going to finish it on YouTube just to work around any potential problems that the patch may have introduced in the game, which can happen from time to time. And then also because I assumed on Wednesday people would be looking for a start of a new game as Khmer or Indonesia or something like that. A lot of people on Twitter want Khmer, so we'll see how that goes. Unfortunately, I was not able to. Apparently, I set Steam offline too late. The patch did get applied to my game. Now, as far as I can tell, I can still load the Spain game perfectly fine. The problem is that CQUI hasn't been updated yet. And the CQUI is conflicting with the patch. The diplomacy doesn't really work. You can't open the civics tree. There's all sorts of stuff like that. So I won't be able to continue the Spain game until CQUI has got an update. And only then will we find out if things have broken or not. I get kind of annoyed that not more companies take advantage of the fact that you can do, you can use the betas tab on Steam to allow people to roll back to previous versions of the game. Kerbal Space Program lets you do that. All the Paradox games let you do that. It avoids the problem where a patch breaks your game in some way, and or your mods, for example. And I wish more games would do that. So I've tried really hard. I really wanted to just, like, take Steam offline so it wouldn't apply, but it's not there. Hopefully we'll be able to finish Spain once CQI gets updated so it's not broken with the new patch. If CQI is not updated by Wednesday, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a new game as probably Khmer without CQI, and then hopefully come back and finish Spain when we get a chance over there. I mean, overall Spain's going pretty well. I feel very confident in our ability to win, but we've seen things go crazy. Anyway, the rest of this video, I'll be looking at the patch notes. A lot of people have asked me to do a video for that. Now, I haven't played to experience the new patch notes, but we're going to read through what we've got. So, this is the Fall 2017 update. It's got some improvements to the game, it's got bug fixes to the game, and it also is paired with 2 new civilizations. So the patch is free, the civilizations are not. One of the big change they list is religion has been overhauled. I don't know if overhauled is exactly the right term for it. To me, overhaul implies a significant and radical change to the entire, like, mechanics of it. The new beliefs, the new religious units, 2 new pantheons, you know, more beliefs options. To me, that's not an overhaul, it's addition to it. However, there is a pretty significant change, which has to do with the layering of religious units, which isn't actually listed here. But yeah, new combat unit, the warrior monk. Religion lens has been overhauled, which does look pretty cool and sexy, I've got to say. But let's go through the list over here. Let's talk about the 2 new civilizations, which is going to be very exciting. First, we've got Khmer. I have no idea if that's the more or less correct pronunciation of this, but I'll do some more lookups later and see if we can get some feedback over here. But new civilization. So we've got a unique ability for Khmer over here, which is Grand Berets. I don't know. Farms produce +2 food if adjacent to an aqueduct, which is pretty cool, and +3 faith and +1 amenity to each city with an aqueduct. What I love about this is that it completely flips city placement on its head when you play the civilization. One of the things that's always a problem, it's not necessarily a problem, but there's always with a lot of civilizations, they actually play the same, right? You more or less have the quote-unquote correct way to play, and a lot of times their unique stuff is just, well, I'm going to be slightly better in this way, or slightly better in this way. This unique ability completely rewrites your personal AI about how you might handle city placement, because you will no longer necessarily prefer sites that give you access to fresh water right away. You're going to be counting on the fact that you're probably going to want to have aqueducts in almost every one of your cities here. Because first of all, that's a lot of extra food. Like, and the thing is, so by using an aqueduct to get housing, As far as I know, you can always build an aqueduct, even if you already have fresh water. It just doesn't give you as much of a boost normally if you already have fresh water. It gives you, like, I think it's maybe a couple extra housing still, if you've already got fresh water, and a lot more housing if you don't, to basically bring you up to par with having fresh water access. But so normally you don't build aqueducts if you've already got fresh water, because it's not worth the production, and it's not worth eating an entire tile on the map. But all of a sudden, it becomes amazing, because you could fit, depending on where you're placing this stuff, you're going to end up with somewhere between, like, I don't know, 1 to 4, probably, like, farms with +2 food, which is a crap ton of food, and is really, really impressive. And then you've got +3 faith and amenity for each city with an aqueduct. That's a lot of faith just added per city, and actually +1 amenity is pretty huge. So you can end up with cities that grow quite a lot bigger. And I just like that it changes the way that you think about your placement of the cities. I think that's great. So a unique ability here for the particular ruler as opposed to the civ, although there's what, 1 civ so far that's got more than 1 ruler, right? Greece? I think that's it. So anyway, mostly they're one and the same. Monasteries of the King. Holy sites provide +2 food and +1 housing if placed on a river. Holy sites provide a culture bomb. First of all, like, just that by itself, I mean, the culture bomb mechanic, when there's, like, you know, when you got a few of that stuff, it's so powerful, right? To be able to steal tiles from another city. Or for me, it's almost one of the big values, being able to steal tiles from a city-state, because, I mean, you can take tiles from other cities by warring them. You don't often want to war city-states, but that lets you grab some of that. Just great. And again, ties in interestingly with their ability. So again, if you're not using a tile adjacent to a river for your city itself, because you're going to be aqueducting, then, you know, then you drop your holy site there. More food, more housing. So these cities are going to grow quite big. Now, one of the things, I don't think it's listed specifically in here, or is it Indonesia that's got the compound? Never mind. I was going to say something about the compound and packing things in and whatever, but nope, that's Indonesia. But I do like all the extra food. I think that's going to be very good. I mean, there's nothing, you know, you change your city placement, and mostly you're just getting more food stuff. It doesn't dramatically change how the civ plays or give you one or, you know, direction in a certain way, although it clearly has a religious bend, right, with plus faith and making holy sites a lot more appealing. You're probably going to want a holy site in every single one of your cities. Domre over here. This is a siege unit. Can shoot and move in the same turn and exerts zone of control. The zone of control on the siege unit is fine. It's not really the bonus. Zone of control, by the way, if you don't know what it is, it's the thing where in Civ, in the Civ 6 implementation is such that if you move next to an enemy unit, you can't move away from that enemy unit on that turn. There's those sort of like red highlighted squares. So this siege unit will have the zone of control, which is, I mean, it's nice, it's fine, but it probably doesn't matter that much. The move and shoot in the same turn is very, very, very powerful, though. Siege units are considerably more effective at blowing up cities than regular ranged units. The problem is normally you can't move and shoot in the same turn, so you have to move up, and then you don't do anything, and then you get shot by the city, and it's very hard. This is actually incredibly good. You're definitely going to want to time things so that the second you get the military engineering, you can get your dom rays there, maybe by upgrading your catapults or something, and just go to town. You could probably win something like 2 wars back to back using these things. I suspect that's going to be really effective. The Prasat here sounds to me, it says same yield as a temple. To me, it sounds like it's probably a temple replacement. It's not exactly clear in the wording, but I suspect that's true. Missionaries purchased in the city receive the Martyr Promotion, and they have +1 relic slot. What? Okay, so first of all, a couple of different things. First of all, this is like, this normal building kind of has the Mont Saint-Michel ability, which is the thing where all your apostles get the Martyr Promotion. The Martyr Promotion means when this unit dies in religious combat, you get a relic out of it. It's very, 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 very potent. A hell of a way to generate a lot more faith and culture from relics, I think. And I think there's stuff you can get to like multiply your relic outputs as well. And they come with an extra relic slot. What's interesting about this is that, and I know this is something they've tried to change in this patch, is they tried to make missionaries a little bit more useful as opposed to focusing primarily on apostle spam. So definitely if you're playing as Khmer, you're going to want to spam out missionaries, probably more as opposed to apostles, because anyone that dies gives you these freaking relics, which is kind of interesting. So obviously this is very well suited to a religious game overall, but you don't necessarily have to pursue a religious victory with this either, right? You can use this religion as a force to power something else, right? Generate a bunch of relics, you make a bunch of faith so that you can buy more great people. Pick a religion that gives you somehow more science or more tourism, if there's such a thing, and, you know, go for those sorts of victories. So anyway, great, I think great synergy with all their abilities. Love it a lot. Obviously, you're going to be very faith-centric on this, and that's cool. Indonesia. Unique ability. Great Nusantara. Minor adjacency for coastal tiles to Holy Site, Campus, Industrial Zone, and Theater Square. Which is like, okay, that's not very clear. +1, oh no, I know what it means. And +1 amenity for each entertainment complex adjacent to coastal style. Minor adjacency, presumably bonus. Like, it feels like there's missing a word. Most likely what this means is +1 to the output. You know how, like, you get +1 to your campus science for each mountain tile that you're next to? It's probably that as opposed to +2. Although, it's possible that it's actually +1 for every 2, right? For, like, the campus, for example, you get +1 science for every 2 rainforest. I don't know what they mean by minor adjacency. The wiki might give extra details. We'll find out in-game. But presumably, it's just, you're getting more yield from your holy sites being adjacent to coast. All right, fair enough. And more amenities from your entertainment complexes next to the coast. That's really cool, too. This is the leader's unique ability. Again, basically synonymous with the Civ itself, but maybe not later on. Exalted Goddess of the Three Worlds. Naval units can be purchased with faith. Religious units pay no movement to embark or disembark. That is very cool and a lot faster to spam out religion. And +2 faith to city centers that are adjacent to the coast. All right, so obviously we've got a very coastal theme here. This is going to be a great Civ to play on a island plates map, or even a continents map is probably going to be okay, especially if you end up with a lot of coast wherever you end up with. Interesting that there's a little bit of competition for being on the coast, right? So you might want your cities to be on the coast for the free faith. On the other hand, you might want to leave as many coast tiles as possible for your holy sites, campuses, industrial zones, theater squares, etc., etc. It feels like a little bit of an anti-synergy here because there's that competition. Also, you often are placing these things, like, are you really going to find, well, okay, industrial zones on the coast actually do set up for a nice Venetian arsenal, which is kind of nifty. I mean, it's not bad. The question is, I'm trying to, like, picture the placements and how many times it's going to work out. Is it going to be, like, super, super freaking amazing? Or is it going to turn out that, well, it actually kind of, like, you don't actually get to take advantage of that placement too often? I'm willing to bet it's really strong, though. I feel like it's really strong. I sort of, like, need to load up a map and, like, poke and try to place things and then be like, yeah, okay, this is going to result in, like 50% more output to everything all the time. It's going to be great, at least for, like, adjacency bonuses. This is going to make the policies, the social policies that give you increased, like, adjacency bonus to your districts a lot more oomph, right? You tend to, like, so there's a, you know, plus 100% adjacency bonus to holy sites and campuses. Those things all exist. You tend to replace them pretty early on with the instead doubling the yield from the buildings in there, but I suspect that that will be greatly delayed, if not avoided completely, as Indonesia, depending on exactly how the placement goes. Anyway, we've got a replacement frigate here. Frigate, of course, a very powerful unit because it is a very potent ranged ship over here, and unlocks with the Mercenaries Civic. Presumably, this gives you access to frigates earlier than you would normally do. Mercenaries is the civic that gives you professional army, for example, and I'm assuming it's before you get frigate. Well, what's interesting is frigate, I don't want to lie, but I'm pretty sure unlocks from a technology normally. So all of a sudden it unlocks through a civic, which means you're going to want to emphasize culture maybe a little bit more with Indonesia. Anyway, it's got +1 movement, which is insane. All units in formation inherit movement speed. So I'm assuming Zhongs or Yongs don't stack, but that rather if you have a frigate next to a privateer, the privateer gets a movement bonus. It's hard to see. And +5 to combat when in formation. Again, formation I believe just means adjacent to. Really, really nice, good, groovy. I mean, it's not just stronger by itself, which is too bad, but +5 to combat is pretty strong, and usually you do end up with them at least side by side, so seems to be okay. And here is the kampung, which apparently, based on what I saw in the video or whatever, is the origin of the English word compound. Unique improvement placed on coastal tiles that are adjacent to a sea resource. Okay, so coastal tiles. They actually mean the sea tiles, right? The water tiles that are on the coast, as opposed to the ground tiles that are next to the sea. Hold on. Hold on. That adjacent to the coastal tiles. I may have been misreading this. What is a coastal tile? Now all of a sudden I'm doubting whether it's the water or not. Well, anyway, if this means that you can build the compound on the water tiles, that's why all of a sudden I'm doubting it. But if you can build this on the water tile to give, that are adjacent to a sea resource, so you put a fishing boat, there's a fish somewhere, and then you build these on there. No, it's got to be on the ground. Crap, I actually don't know. And I feel like I'm terribly sorry that I don't know exactly what they mean with this. I haven't even bought the DLC yet, so, Well, we'll find out. Angkor Wat, New Wonder, +1 population in all current cities when built. That's actually very powerful. And what's interesting about this is this will all, any cities that were at your housing cap and therefore are growing very slowly, this still gives them the +1 population. And the bigger your cities are, the harder it is to get each pop. This is actually a really powerful one-shot build. The +1 housing in all cities remains as a nice bonus that is really helpful overall. Must be built adjacent to an aqueduct resource, which means, of course, as Khmer, that's going to be a really sexy little thing for you to build over here, because you're likely to going to have more spots where it's going to be available. The Halong Bay Natural Wonder, a new 2-tile natural wonder that can be found on coastal terrain and provides +3 food, +1 production, +1 culture, and bonus combat strength when defending in this tile. That probably won't come up very often, but it is kind of interesting to just throw that in there, because why not? But yeah, I love the fact that this provides, like, food and production and culture. Well, okay, I bet you that's just what the base tile is. It's not an improvement over anything else, but that's, like, a lot of food. Enough food to feed the population that's working that tile, and then some, and plus up production and culture on top of that. Really, really sexy. New scenario. I don't really play the scenarios, but it's here, so there you go. All right, religion update. They overhauled the religion lens. I can confirm that this looks damn sexy and nice. It's basically the same as the old religion lens, but maybe a little bit more clear. It's got some extra cool little visuals in there as well. But again, because I had the CQUI stuff running, it's like a little hard to know for sure what all the changes are, and I'm gonna have to double check everything in a proper game. All religious units move on their own layer, similar to trade units and spies. Now this is very interesting, because what it means, now spies, you don't really notice it because you don't really move spies by themselves. But in particular with trade units, like, you can move into a tile with a trade unit, with a military unit, right? Let's say, there's a caravan going by and you've got a military unit. You can step on that tile and it does nothing. It doesn't start a war. Nothing gets blocked. Nothing gets destroyed innately. You can occupy the same tile as that. They work on their own layer. The upshot of this is it's going to avoid the stupid problem we've had before where someone swarms your territory with freaking apostles and you can't move your damn units because you're being blocked in. Now, if you're at war with them, great. You can just smash those units with military units. But if you're at peace with them, they can actually just interfere with you. So now that's no longer going to be a problem. They're not going to get in each other's way. You might wonder how you can kill those religious units when you're at war, but we've got a note 2 tiles down for that. Switch to unique flag backing for religious units. Okay. Display religion, if applicable, for a unit to be purchased of faith. That actually I like quite a lot. So now when you're buying a missionary or something, it'll say, like, missionary Buddhist, presumably, which I think helps for clarity and avoids, maybe reduce the chance that you'll buy a religious unit in a city that's got the wrong religion for what you intend. Add the Condemn Heretic unit action to allow military units to eliminate religious units in their tile, similar to pillaging a trade route. So if you've got a military unit on top of a religious unit, you can hit the Condemn Heretic button to blow it up. Presumably, this will start a war if you're not already at war, or it'll only be there if you're at war or something like that. But yeah, same thing as the trade units. Hey, sounds like a great solution to that problem. Love it. Add religion indicators to unit flags, so you'll be able to tell what religion a missionary is, presumably on the map, which is cool. Religious units now exert zone of control and receive flank and support bonuses in religious combat. Now, so again, I'm assuming this zone of control only applies to other religious units. Again, you're not going to block other military units with this, but it means that someone can't just like run by your Inquisitor. If they move next to your Inquisitor, they're going to be stopped there. And there we go. And then you get flank and support bonuses in religious combat. So if you have a swarm of units, you can surround people, get bonuses to the combat. I think that's good. I think that adds a little bit more interesting complexity to religious warfare. I love it. Especially since religious warfare is always active. You can attack someone else's religious unit without being at war with your religious units, right? Like, that's totally okay. I don't know about the Condemn Heretic. Whether or not Condemn Heretic will work all the time or will start a war, like Pillaging Trade Route will be interesting to see. All right, add its new pantheons, new founder beliefs, new follower beliefs, new enhancer beliefs, and new worship beliefs. This is not described in the patch notes. I don't know why, but we do have the info on the Reddits, which is, so new pantheons. The first one was really sexy to me. The City Patron Goddess gives you a 25% production boost towards districts in cities without a specialty district. I love it, because one of my big complaints is that once you get past the mid-game, it becomes really crappy to settle a new city, because the production cost of building a new district, which is really the way that cities become powerful, is just so prohibitive, because the cost of building districts goes up with every tech and civic that you unlock. So this means the very first district you build in a city will be built faster, which I love. It specifies specialty districts because things like an aqueduct doesn't count as a specialty district, for example. So until you've got your campus and so on and so forth, you can build one 25% faster. I'm very keen on that particular pantheon. That's good, like, right at the start of the game, because you can often get a pantheon before you get your first district. I mean, you might get your pantheon from having, say, a holy site in your capital city, for example. That's entirely possible. So that won't apply to your capital, but it'll apply to like everything else you build. Next pantheon, Earth Goddess, +1 faith from tiles with charming or better appeal. Again, very, 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 very potent, because this can give you faith in a surprising amount of tiles, and doesn't require, you know, there to be a, you know, doesn't require it to have a pasture on it. Doesn't require to have wheat or whatever. It can apply to any tile that's pretty enough. It also makes you care a lot more about appeal early on. Now, this might actually turn out to be a fairly weak pick for a few different reasons. First of all, some of the prettiest tiles in the game are things that are like, say, adjacent to mountains. Well, except you're going to put probably campuses and holy sites in places adjacent to mountains, so you won't get to take advantage of that +1 faith, for example. Any tile next to a mine, which of course you're going to need early on, is going to get a penalty to appeal. So it takes a bit of a hit there. I think coastal tiles tend to be quite pretty, though. So if you're playing a very coastal map, then, you know, like an Island Plates map, then you might have a lot of very appealing tiles, and therefore you might get quite a lot of faith from that. You'll have to play that one by ear. But again, if you're playing, say, as Khmer, then your coastal tiles are actually not Khmer. If you're playing as Indonesia, then your coastal tiles are going to be occupied probably by more districts than you would normally think. So, yeah. Mine adjacent to coastal tiles. Again, like, placed on coastal tiles. Again, I don't know, like, to me, the compound means you have to build it on ground. So coastal tile, I assume, means a ground tile that's next to water. Which means that this, so I was thinking you'd build your holy sites on the coast, but it sounds like you'd be building your holy sites, etc., one tile off the coast. In which case, if that is true, then actually the Earth Goddess would actually be a pretty good combo for Indonesia, because you wouldn't be building your districts right on the coast tiles, and the coast tiles would always have higher appeal because they're coastal and therefore they're really pretty, so Earth Goddess might work. I don't know. Anyway, they also made a change to the Religious Idols Pantheon, which now gets +2 faith from mines over luxuries or bonus resources. It used to be +1. That's actually a really, really substantial change. I love that a lot. So if you start an area that's got, so not strategic resources, so iron doesn't count, right? But mercury, like anything that's mineable, not quarryable, but anything that's mineable, that's not a strategic resource, will give you +2 faith per, which is nice. And I think that needed to be boosted because it actually was quite, I think, hard maybe to get a start that had a lot of those bonus ones. Now you need half as much to get the same value to be worth it. Okay, new worship building options. So these are options when you found a religion. You can choose a one of the things you can choose is like a type of building that you can build. So we've got the Dur-Amur, which is +3 faith and +1 additional faith for each era since it was constructed or last repaired. So this is a building that you would build in your holy site, presumably after you build a temple, right? You go shrine, temple, and then you can build one of your religious buildings if your religion allows it. So this would be a +3 faith building, which is not by itself more powerful than any of the others. In fact, might be a little weak sauce. But as you go through the eras, it becomes more and more powerful. Like if you end up building this very early on, this could be a 6th faith or even 7th faith or something like that building, depending on exactly how it works out. Now, if your holy site gets pillaged and you have to repair the building, it seems to reset the faith counter. So it's a little less, like that's a risk there. But that could be a very powerful faith building. To me, I think the Stupa is more interesting in that it still has the base +3 faith and then gives you +1 amenity. That is another way to grow your cities a lot bigger because you have a lot more happiness going around. Because one of the problems, of course, if you run into negative amenities, all your cities produce more slowly, which sucks. If you happen to have positive amenities and your cities produce faster, which is very nice, the Stupa is going to be very, very, very compelling. Other beliefs: choral music. Shrines and temples provide culture equal to their intrinsic faith output. Love it. Lots of extra culture. Very nice. Very, very sexy. Follower belief: warrior monks. So this also, follower belief, warrior monk unlocks the new warrior monk ability. So you choose this as a belief, allow spending faith to train warrior monks, which are medieval land units, units with a unique promotion tree, may only be purchased in a city with a temple in its holy site. No other details in terms of apparent strength over here. We'll have to see it in game, I guess. Next belief. These are those two were follower beliefs. Which means any city that follows that religion, whether it's yours or someone else's, would get the ability to get the choral music or warrior monks bonus. These are founder beliefs, the next two that I'm going to read. So only the person who founds the religion gets this bonus. Cross-cultural dialogue, +1 science for every follower of this religion in other civilizations. Spread your religion, get more science. Pretty sexy. Next one is religious unity. +1 envoy at each city-state when it first adopts this religion, in addition to any envoy from a city-state quest. So, religious unity, you spread your religion to city-states, you get a free envoy there. I love it, because there's actually not that much incentive to spreading your religion to city-states that much. I mean, maybe you have something where, you know, every follower of this religion gives you a bonus. Now, like cross-cultural dialogue, right? +1 science for every followers of this religion in other civilizations. I actually don't know if that applies to city-states or not. But some don't say that. Some are just like raw follower counts, for example. But I like religious unity as a... So now we're talking about, with religious unity, you're talking about a way to use religion to help give you more diplomatic power, which is very, very, very cool. Very cool. Love it a lot. 2 new enhancer beliefs. Burial grounds, which culture bombs adjacent tiles when completing a holy site. Now that is, where are we looking for? Because there's a culture bomb. Yeah. So, Khmer already has that ability built in. So obviously you're not going to want it for that, but it enables it for everyone else, which is very cool. Love it. And religious colonization. Cities start with this religion in place if founded by a player who has this as their majority religion. That is insanely cool because it's not just you. So if you found a religion, you know, you'll probably have your own religion as a majority, and when you found a new city, your new cities will automatically follow your religion. That by itself would have been good. But if you convert some other civilization so that the majority of their cities follow you, like you're working towards a religious victory, now any new cities they create will already follow that, which means that they're going to stay locked into your religion as the majority, which I love. It's also going to tie in nicely with some trade changes we're going to see in a second. Okay. that is it for the new stuff that someone found on Reddit, which is nice, in terms of religious beliefs and things. Added to the Guru Religious Support Unit, which can heal nearby religious units. I love that, because when you're doing religious warfare in someone else's territory, you can't really heal your units normally, but now with the Guru following along, now you can. I think that's an excellent change. Love it. This is great. Improved long-term usefulness of missionaries by giving their spread religion ability 10% eviction of all other religions. All of your missionaries have a lightweight version of the proselytizer promotion that apostles can get. So in addition to converting people directly, it also reduces other religions' presence in a city. Much boosted missionaries. I think that's fantastic. I'm also very excited about this change. It's a small, subtle one, but I think it's great. Give 9 existing leaders, doesn't tell us who, although we could find that out by looking through the data files, and probably people will have it on the wiki soon, the low religious preference trait. So they are unlikely to push hard for religion, making it easier for players to get one on high difficulties. Talked about it many times. It's incredibly difficult to secure a religion on higher difficulties because the AI starts with a bunch of free techs and civics, which means they'll almost always start with the astrology or astronomy? I think it's astrology. The astrology tech, which gives them the ability to build like holy sites, and then the other thing that lets you build Stonehenge. Like, they'll almost always start with the technology to build Stonehenge and holy sites right from the beginning of the game, and they get a production boost, which means they'll almost always get that first, which means they'll probably lock up all the great profits sometimes before you even get your first holy site up. It's pretty brutal. So this will make it so that fewer civs out there will be rushing to a religion, which probably first of all fits their particular theme a lot better, and also, yeah, makes it a little easier to get that as a player, which I think is nice. I think that's a good way to handle it. Perfectly okay. Added unit action tooltip to show how many followers you'll have in a city after you spread religion there. Gorgeous. So when you mouse over the button to spread religion, it'll give you a hint as to how many you'll have. It'll let you make more informed decisions. I like it. This is a change that they've imported from Civ 5. Trade routes now give religion pressure at each end of the trade route, and in particular, the destination gets more pressure. So if you're sending a trade route to another civilization, you will be pushing your religion more than will come back to you, which means sort of offensive religion spreading via trade routes is going to be a good move. You're going to want to have trade routes going to cities of other religions whenever you can. Now, I think this is going to be a pretty slow thing. I don't think it's going to convert cities very quickly, but I think it's going to be very good. Yeah, and it's the same amount as if the city was close by. And we know that spreading via just like nearby spread, like things being nearby, right? This sort of effect was pretty slow. You still mostly had to convert things with, missionaries and whatever, but it's still there, and I think it's something that was missing. I love that. Add an 8 new relics, so they'll have, more backstory and information, and sure, that's fine. Also, prevent maybe running out of relics, I don't know. Okay, UI enhancements. Updated diplomacy screens to improve readability and usability. Can you give us details? How many of these things are, like, critical things? Like, one of my favorite things in CQUI, for example, is the ability to distinguish between when someone's got a duplicate of a luxury on both sides, yourself and your opponent, which makes it a lot easier to trade. Hopefully it's something like that. I don't know. Not enough details. We'll find out when we start playing a game proper, I suppose. Trade overview. Available trade routes tab will now show all possible routes between two cities, regardless if the original city has a trader located at it. Okay, fine. New medallion art style for great people. Okay, fine. Capital icons now appear on city banners in Espionage Chooser menu. That's actually quite nice. You can more easily tell which is the capital city when you're trying to send a spy. Rest and repair actions inform you if you can't heal due to a missing strategic resource. That sounds really smart. Change sort order for gossip so most recent messages are shown first. Okay, that seems reasonable. Ensure, that seems like more of a bug fix than anything. Like, what? Yeah, all right. Ensure plot tooltips show up after mousing over 2D icons in the same plot. We've run into that issue before, where, yeah, if you mouse over the little, like, pop-up for, like a resource, then, like, the tooltip doesn't show up. You gotta, like, move your mouse off and then back. It's very annoying, so I didn't even know what the cause was. Now I know what the cause is, but apparently they fixed it, so that's good. Trade route chooser now sorts routes when filtered by yield. Guys, it only took them 2 fucking years. 2 fucking years! Why did it take this long? I mean, I should be happy that it's in there, but I'm mostly just super salty. Because what you could do before is you could sort, when you're trying to, you've got a trade unit and you've got to send it somewhere. From the pull down menu, you could say, only show me trade routes that have production. Right? And it would filter it to only show that, but it wouldn't sort it. Like, clearly, if I want to see all trade routes with production, then probably I want to choose the one with the most production, so it should be at the top of the goddamn list. Luckily, we had things like CQUI to fix that for us. Now it's finally built into the game. Again, I think something that should have been in there right from the start, that I talked to them about when I was going to, like, the way early pre-release events, like months before release. I said, this needs to be in the game. Finally, it's there. This is, like, right up there with, like, the alert when a city can bombard because there's like an enemy in range. This is like, this was not optional. So finally it's there. Thank goodness. Lots of changes to make assorted UI screens more moddable, extensible. Hey, that's really cool, actually. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Okay, AI tuning. Obviously, AI is still one of the weak points of Civ 6. We're not going to deny it. You know, the only thing that makes the game hard at the highest difficulties is the massive, massive bonuses that the AI gets, which does outstrip the bonuses of Civ 5. Now, part of it is because Civ 6 is actually a slightly more complicated game to play from an AI point of view. Placing districts is and optimizing that kind of production is a lot more complicated than just, you know, having sort of standardized building queues, for example. So it is fair that, like, the AI does have a harder time in Civ 6, but there's a lot of things that are still outstanding that need love. In particular, the naval gameplay, we know, has been a very weak area of the AI. Well, I mean, that's always been a thing in Civ, but it's especially, it just seemed completely broken in Civ 6, where the AI, like, just never builds enough naval stuff. So if you're in a map where you can do naval things, it's like, GG, you've already won, right? Like, you know, and that's kind of clear in our Spanish game, for example. So they're improving the naval AI, including protecting and healing naval units, building a proper navy, thank you, and assaulting coastal cities. Excellent. AI will attempt to reconvert its holy cities. Hey, that sounds smart. AI will no longer commit to battles they cannot win. Also sounds smart. Improved AI city and district placement. That is probably going to make the AI, more than anything else, considerably more dangerous. And at some point, it might start to be like, okay, well, maybe I can't plan deity anymore if they get too smart. Improved AI's evaluation of great works, i.e. they're probably not going to sell a great work for 1 gold anymore, which was, in my opinion, a straight up bug. But yeah, you could buy all your great works for 1 gold if you wanted to, which is ridiculous. Improved scouts' drive to explore tribal villages. Now, that was always something, like, I didn't know if it was a bug or a conscious choice, but the AI definitely does not poke at tribal villages for some reason. And even late in the game, they're available for the player, you know, by the North Poles and things like that. So I didn't really understand what was going on there. I guess, I mean, their scout, I guess the auto-explore behavior for a scout doesn't actually include, like, I'm going to go poke at a thing. If you auto-explore your own scout, what it does is it cancels auto-explore when it's near a tribal village to prompt you to probably go and get it. But maybe the AI doesn't do it, so I don't know. Improved siege tax, so the AI is going to be more dangerous taking cities. All right, good. Adjusted religious strategies, preventing a large horde of units going to the same distant city. And we're used to seeing that, the giant swarm of apostles coming in, which was both extraordinarily dangerous sometimes, because, like I remember a game where I founded a religion, and then, like, 2 turns later, 1,000,000 apostles showed up, blew up my religion, and that was it, GG. So it'll avoid maybe, like, the instant stomping out of a player's religion, which is kind of annoying. Effective, don't get me wrong, but not fun. And part of the problem, part of the thing you go for AI is you're not necessarily always going to build an AI which is designed to win first and foremost. One of the things you're trying to do with the AI is make an AI that's fun for the player to play as, which by necessity will play differently than a human. Your goal for an AI is not to make an AI that plays like a human. Your goal for an AI is to make an AI that feels like an in-game real person, right? Someone who's playing in a realistic way in that sort of historical setting, even if that means not necessarily, you know, min-maxing everything like a human would. And so anyway, this I think will make things feel better, and also in lots of times maybe make them be more efficient as well. New AI support for the religious heal and condemn heretic actions, fair enough. Improved AI use of inquisitors, which is good because the AI didn't seem to use a lot of inquisitors to defend its land when you're trying to convert it, so that'll be a thing. Money grubber agenda is no longer as sensitive to fluctuations in income. Okay, so that's just, I think this is the thing where, like, you get a message where you're like, oh, you're making lots of money, and 2 turns later, like, oh, you're broke and I hate you. Ongoing stability improvements for multiplayer, sure, okay. Balance changes. Removed some of the least useful gossip messages to improve signal delays. I mean, I don't know how that's a balance change as opposed to a UI change, but okay. So we get less spam from, you know, gossip messages, sure. Move +1 embark speed from cartography to square rigging. Okay, for sure, fine, whatever. Allow friendly or allied spies to escape just before a nuke is detonated on a city they're in. All other spies are still killed. Kind of an edge case scenario, but sure, I guess that's okay. Added guilds as a prereq for humanism, so you have theater squares before museums. I didn't realize you could actually, like, unlock, like, humanism and unlock museums before you had the ability to build theater squares, which means you could not actually build museums. That probably didn't come up very often. I mean, there's no point in unlocking museums before theater squares. So I guess, you know, it's fine, whatever. Change the civic prereqs between industrial and modern, so zoo is required before stadium. Okay, sure. Religious idols Pantheon belief is now +2 faith per mine instead of +1. We saw that. Oh no, I saw that on the Reddit screen. That's what it was. So yeah, that is a nice boost. I think that's good. Persian Immortal unit now behaves primarily as a melee unit with a ranged attack ability. Now, I don't know what that means. Now, the Immortal unit does have a ranged attack. Balance change. Maybe it means that the Immortal can now conquer cities, because that's something they couldn't do. So if it's flagged as a melee unit, it might be able to do a few slightly different things, like conquering a city, while still having its ranged attack ability. I don't know. It's a little interesting. Bug fixes. Okay, when takes over in a multiplayer game, sure. Fixed an issue where AI would trade invalid items. That sounds smart. AI appears to refuse their own trade proposals. I've seen that before. Corrected an error that made the AI very unlikely to agree to alliances. Oh, thank you. That actually really annoyed me in this current game. Before I turned all warmongery, I was super good friends with people, and we'd never get an alliance. So that's fixed, and I like that. Missing descriptive text for Broadway. Oh, cool. Fixed colonial taxes to be the listed 25% boost, so it wasn't doing what it was supposed to. Fixed a player being able to make peace with city-states while at war with the suzerain. I didn't realize it was a bug. Because, yeah, if you waited like 10 turns or something like that, you could peace out a city-state that was the vassal of a civ you're fighting. So now we're not going to be able to. I didn't realize it was a bug necessarily. And I think you needed 10 turns. I might be wrong about that. If you could do it instantly, then that was silly. Pillage districts no longer provide adjacency yields and they drop adjacent appeal. Okay. Fix the Hanging Gardens not granting appeal. Oh, this is a really good one. Archery tech boost earned by Slinger on defense. So you get a boost to archery when you kill a unit with a Slinger. That's always been in there. That's how you get your boost. That's how you get your Eureka for archery. But for a long time, well, since the game came out, if a unit was killed by a Slinger, let's say a barbarian attacked your Slinger and then the barbarian died, that did not count as the Slinger killing someone and granting you the archery boost. And that's going to be in there now, which is good. Unique districts don't count twice for mathematics tech boost. So I think the mathematics tech boosters have like 3 unique districts or something like that. So apparently some things were counting twice, so this is going to be harder to get than before. I think that's the mathematic thing. I don't remember. Fix housing for monarchy to properly be +1 for each level of wall. Presumably it wasn't before. Culture bombs can't steal national park tiles. That's smart. Conquering a city with a spaceport under sabotage no longer redirects that mission at yourself. Oh! So if a spy was in the process of sabotaging the spaceport in a city that you captured, it would still go as opposed to kicking the spy out or something? All right, fine. Captured spies are immediately returned when a player is defeated. Gold cost of delegations is correct at all game speeds. Properly compute foreign followers of a religion for beliefs that use this stat. Followers from cities that didn't have this religion as a majority were not counted previously. Oh! Wow, that sucks. So if a city had a population of 20 and 8 of them followed your religion, those 8 did not count for like things like tithe or the science boost or culture boost or any of those things. Whoa, that was poopy. So at least that's fixed. Thank you. Embarked combat units can no longer capture enemy embarked civilians. I think I'm okay with that. That means if you have an embarked swordsman, it can't capture an embarked builder from another civ. I think that's fair, because embarked combat units really are not combati at all. Additional bug fixes. Well, thank you for clarity. I appreciate that very much. The Jakarta city-state has been renamed to Bandar Brunei. Jakarta is correct me if I'm wrong, the capital of Indonesia. And since Indonesia is now a proper civilization, you didn't want it to be a city-state. Added motion blur to leaders. Sure, fine. Okay, groovy. So there we go. So we've taken a look over here. Again, I haven't tested this in-game yet. You know, $10 for a couple of civilizations. Well, 10 Canadian dollars. You know, whether or not that's you know, worth anything, that's a discussion for the ages. I will point out, you know, for everyone who complains that, like, things like Europa Universalis DLC is too expensive, a lot of the EU, like the Paradox DLC is like $10, some's 15, some's like slightly less than $10. And to me, you know, you get a little bit more than just this, but yeah, DLC pricing and everything is always something that, like, really depends on how much time you spend in a game and how much personal money you've got, and everyone's got a different threshold for those things. So, well, it's there. Clearly I have to buy it because it's my job. Oh no, woe is me. So I will be doing that, and next Wednesday, we will be starting a game. I'm really tempted to play as Khmer. A lot of people wanted me to do that on Twitter. I don't know why it's got, like, people have got more love for that than in Indonesia, but I'll make sure, whichever one we play, I'll make sure the other one is also present in the game, so we'll get to experience a little bit of that. Thanks for watching, folks. See you next time.